Another big headline we're tracking. A former Canadian Olympic snowboarder is being called the criminal mastermind of a huge drug trafficking network. That's according to the U.S. Department of Justice anyway. Today they held a big press conference in Washington, and at the center of it, ex-Olympian Ryan Wedding. The Americans say Wedding ordered the murder of a key witness in a case against him. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying Wedding controls one of the most prolific and violent drug trafficking organizations in the world.
Today, we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking.
The charges relate to the murder of a federal witness following an indictment of Wedding back in 2024. That indictment alleging that Wedding conspired to ship bulk quantities of cocaine from Southern California to Canada through a Canadian-based drug transportation network run by co-conspirators in Ontario. Wedding is already on the FBI's 10 most wanted list as the FBI is hunting for him. And now there is a reward of up to $15 million US for any information leading to his arrest. We also heard from the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, today.
This is an indictment, an additional indictment, an arrest of multiple subjects, nearly a dozen more, and that brings the total to approximately 36 indicted.
Yeah, the U.S. Attorney for Central California is saying along with 44-year-old Ryan Wedding and 14 other defendants, that includes a Canadian lawyer, a Latino pop star, have been charged with orchestrating the murder of the witness who was shot and killed at a restaurant in Colombia.
His lawyer advised them to kill this witness. His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed. That lawyer is now in custody, and he'll be extradited and brought to justice here in the United States.
We also talked about the RCMP and their top cop. The commissioner, Mike Duhem, was in Washington for today's press conference. He talked about a Canadian operation that happened just yesterday that was part of this larger story. Listen to this.
Yesterday, we engaged in an operation following information that we received and arrest 7 out of 8 Canadians. All of them are currently locked up, waiting the extradition process. So they'll have a fair process in front of a judge, and then our Department of Justice will communicate with the justice here, and it will go through the steps of the extradition. But the premise is everybody will be charged in the United States.
Such a bizarre story because, of course, at the heart of it, a former Canadian Olympic snowboarder. Let's bring in Ken Gray. Ken is a former FBI agent. He's senior lecturer at the University of New Haven. Ken, good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Hi, Todd. Good to be with you again.
I know you were following that press conference as well. We saw Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, the head of our RCMP there in Washington. Your thoughts on what that means, sort of the level of intensity behind this investigation, Ken?
Sure. So Wedding has been on our top 10 list for some time now. And they've, with this press conference, they announced that they have increased the reward for information that will lead to his arrest from $10 million to $15 million. So this is really incredible that such a large reward is being offered for Ryan Wedding. It's because of the fact that he is running a transnational criminal enterprise that is moving 60 metric tons of cocaine from Mexico into L.A. and from L.A. around the United States and into Canada. So he really is a major drug trafficker in the area. He's working with the Sinaloa cartel. And so I think that the reward is appropriate for such an enterprise, for him to be running such an enterprise.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned the Sinaloa drug cartel in Mexico. Investigators at the FBI do believe that he may be in Mexico, but it's possible he's elsewhere, possibly Costa Rica, Colombia. We just don't know. Who knows? He could even be somewhere in Canada. Ken, it's very difficult to find, one person when you're talking about that kind of geography, as well as the fact that he could be being protected by a very high-profile and very dangerous Mexican drug cartel.
Absolutely. So the Mexican authorities have joined on board on the investigation for searching for Wedding. So perhaps because of their additional manpower that they're going to put to this investigation. If he is there in Mexico, perhaps they will be able to locate him. Last information on him put him in Mexico, but as you say, that's a year-old information, and he could be anywhere. But nonetheless, the heat is on for finding Wedding, and there's a big dollar reward there for anybody that has information that will lead to his location and arrest.
It's so strange, Ken, when you take a step back and you think, this guy was a former Olympic snowboarder, now being called, a kingpin of this huge drug trafficking network in North America.
Yeah, it's believed that he is making $1 billion a year with his enterprise. And so I guess drug trafficking pays a lot better than snowboarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last question, what a manhunt like this looks like. You talked about the Mexicans being involved. We heard Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, where you used to work for many years, but also Pam Bondi, the attorney in California, the head of the RCMP as well. The kind of resources, Ken, that you expect to be devoted to tracking down and finding Ryan Wedding so he can face these charges.
Well, since he is running such a large enterprise that is doing so much damage as far as bringing drugs into both our country and your country, they're going to devote a lot of resources to tracking this man down. And there have been a lot of resources used in the past, but I imagine with this announcement that they will be turning the heat up even more. The key to this, of course, is people providing information to law enforcement. And the risk to those people is fairly high. The witness that was going to testify against him, Wedding, put his picture and his wife's picture up on a website. That website led to information about his location, and that witness was shot at a restaurant. It will be dangerous, but nonetheless, the reward is very high for somebody providing this information. But the key will be somebody that sees him and says something about it that will lead to his location.
Ken Gray joining us from New Haven in Connecticut, former FBI agent. Great to have you back with us, Ken. Help us make sense of this strange one. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.